Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I think it works. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Maze Swarm Community Call, broadcasting live to all the corners of the interwebs. And that includes X streaming on X also. So, hello there, and you're very welcome to join the conversation in Discord. But for the first time ever, we are eating our tasty dog food. So, we are streaming as well into Swarm. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Antonio, and I'm very glad to be your host today, wherever you are within this pale blue dot. All right, so what can you expect of the call today? Here's the agenda. First, we'll talk about the core development updates with Niki and Callum, and then we will have our in focus section where we will report from EthPrague where this broadcast is being generated because we are in other words, we're in Prague. Community talk. The clients are coming with Pavel, MFW78, and Aata. And finally, we'll close with the community AMA and open space for debate. So that's it. Welcome to have you here. Let's kick it up. To begin with, Niki will walk us through the items that will be included in the upcoming release, all aimed at simplifying nodes, spin up, and improving usability across the board. It's an important step. So I would like to welcome Niki to stage. Hello, Niki.
Hello, Antonio. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Stage is yours.
Nice. Thank you. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Maze Community Call. Today, we're coming to you live from EthPrague. It's amazing to see so many of you in here in person and online. I know some of you have not been able to join, and I have to say, we really miss you. The energy has been fantastic around, and we're really excited to share what's been cooking in the product and engineering side. So let's dive in. One of our biggest focuses recently has been improving the node spin-up experience, making it faster, easier, and more predictable. The goal has been to get dnode fully up and running with no deep swarm knowledge and in a fraction of the time. After exploring different approaches, we found that the most time-consuming part of node spin-up is syncing batches. So here is the breakdown. Now we generate a Boston snapshot, and instead of syncing batches in real time, new nodes will simply load the snapshot. This has already been tested, and the results are extremely promising. We are seeing a dramatic reduction in spin-up time, and it's super efficient. We believe this will be a game changer for node operators, whether you are new in Swarm or running nodes at scale. What's next? We are also excited to announce that we've officially kickstarted the in-browser node project with Pavel. So what it is, run a Swarm node directly from your web browser using WebAssembly, no installation required. This is to make Swarm radically more accessible. We want to use it for in-browser gateways, file crafting, and portable deployments, and actually lower the barrier to entry for everyone, to interact with the network. This is going to be our major focus for the next 2.7 release, and we are thrilled about the possibilities this will open up. Apart from that, just a quick reminder, there is a sweep open around pulsing protocol improvements, and we want your input here in case, if you care actually about how data is shared and synced across Swarm, this is your chance to help improve one of the protocol's core components. Check it out, leave your thoughts, and help us build it together. And since we're here at EthPrague, if you're around, please come find us. Most of the team is here. We'd love to meet you, talk notes, protocols, or just hang out and hear what we're building. That's all from me this month. Thank you all for being part of Swarm Journey, wherever you are. We've got a lot of momentum right now, and it's only possible because of this amazing community. Back to you, Antonio.
Thank you, Niki. Thanks a lot. It was very informative. We will be speaking more about this in-browser client further on the call. Thanks for all the insights. And I would like to hand over the mic to Callum to share updates from the research.
Hello, can you hear me, Antonio? Oh, maybe not. Maybe I can't hear Antonio.
We can hear. I mean, I can hear you, Callum, but I
But I
cannot hear Antonio.
Okay,
I can
okay.
hear him because he's sitting right next to me, but otherwise I wouldn't have. But go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yes. Hello, everybody from EthPrague. Thank you all for your time and coming to the call. I've got good updates to give you and kind of holistically what Niki was talking about as well, like our wider agenda in the org at the minute for what we're trying to achieve. So, take a quick step back, what we're doing in the full org and in the B team and in research team and everyone with the external contributors and everything that we're working on is ultimately this year and as soon as possible to make Swarm competitive, performant, and usable. I think everything that we're all doing is in one of those or multiple avenues at once. And to that effect, what we're here to do is release the multi-chain product beta into kind of the first production release. And for us, that's a real big shift into delivering very, very easy to use products and services that directly make Swarm a bit of a breeze to actually utilize and work. So we're excited to be at that production level state. So you will get announcements pending for when that is released. So just keep your eyes on the socials. Won't be long at all. So you'll see that in coming days, effectively next week. Equally, if there's any last minute feedback or things that you want to do, it's always available to take a spin. There's always more to do. This is just going to be the first version, and it's onwards and upwards from here. But effectively, what do we mean by competitive, performance, usable? So again, usable, that's where our multi-chain app comes in. Equally, what we're talking about, and I'm very excited to hear more of with our in-browser clients. This just takes us to a whole different level of product on top of our base layer infrastructure that makes this network just much, much easier to use. Same thing with the easy node spin up. Effectively, we've seen how difficult it can be, even for technical people, or how time consuming it can be to just take time out of your day to actually read the docs, do the thing, spin the node up, 20 minutes or more. If hopefully we've got that down to less than 5 minutes, which I just think is a massive, massive improvement. So I just want to make this as usable and as good of an experience everywhere that we go, everywhere that we have to do, and that you don't have to rely so heavily on documentation because the product side of things makes your lives so easy to get the job done that you're looking for. Likewise, with the pole sync and protocol changes, we've been reviewing things on the research side of what we want to do, equally on a few more erasure code changes as well, to try to get as fast performance as possible for uploads, downloads. Again, we've been finishing this epic. So to go back to my first point of being performant, we're trying to compete as best we can across the board for usability, for speeds, for retrievability, reliability of the data availability that will eventually come to when we kind of look towards this data availability or insurance scheme that we can offer with the network from there. So you'll see some SWIPs pending and some activity on that in the coming weeks and months. But ultimately, at the minute, we're excited to get this product out to production and excited for all the other initiatives coming out of the network. So hopefully we see usability improve, speeds improve, and our competitiveness improve. And then as a result, our biz dev, our ecosystem, the token, the foundation, and all of us and what we're building on top of Swarm. So I hope that the next lot of months are very productive with a lot of good work coming out. Hopefully that answers anything that's in the back of your mind for what direction we are going in and the initiatives with what we're working on and why we're working on them. But yeah, so stay tuned for the next coming releases and especially the multi-chain app and any feedback you get. Hopefully that answers everything that's in everyone's minds. Back to you, Antonio.
Thank you so much, Callum. That was nice to hear. Please stay with us to answer any question that anyone can drop in the stage chat channel, which is usually above the stage channel in your browser. Thank you so much for these insights. Let's move on to our next section, which is in focus. As mentioned during the last call, we are live from Prague with which is featuring the latest news from the Ethereum ecosystem. It's been a packed event. There's been a lot of Petra updates, anything related with the last big Ethereum release. everything related to CAD abstraction version 2, also called EIP 7702, has been featured in several talks. And of course, Tim Berners-Lee and Vitalik absolutely creating a full scenario, a full audience, putting emphasis on data ownership and how our data needs to evolve for the internet to become better for all of us. And talk related to Swarm, we had Victor Tron had a talk talking about incentives on the first day of the event. Also, we had a workshop. Well, they allow people to allow the Swarm team to take over one big table in the workshop area, the purple room of the event, so that anyone can come there and ask any questions. The team was there featuring and answering questions. That was pretty awesome. And in that particular moment, we feature Beachan. And I don't know if you know what is Beachan, and I'm going to tell you right straight away what it is. It's a forum that was recently set up on Swarm where everyone can anonymously meet and talk. It's called Beachan, obviously referencing the other forum. You can add existing threads or create new ones. Initially, this forum was first accessible to those running a local node, but at the moment, and for showcasing purposes, this is also available via Swarm Gateway with no need to purchase a badge or upload any text. I will urge you to try it out. You simply have to type echan.bzz.limo in your browser and you're in. If you're not, check if you're running HTTP or HTTPS. You should be on the latter. Happy posting. That's about EthPrague. Now, the next section will speak about the clients. It's called Community Talk, and I would like to invite here to the stage community members to talk about it. We have two community members working on an in-browser client. It's a game changer, so I would like to welcome one of them, Pavel, to the call. And on the other hand, we're also super happy to welcome MFW78 in the call because single-handedly working on the client in Rust, swiping some dust on the way. But let's begin with Pavel. Hello, Pavel. Are you around? You have been invited to speak.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Do I just start the way, or I guess I'll introduce
myself?
Please.
Yeah, please. You can start with an introduction and what are you building with this in this in-browser client?
Yes. So I'm Pavel. I'm a front-end developer at DNS. Before that, I worked at Flick. I'm passionate about decentralized web and decentralized frontends, and specifically anything about those two together. And a few weeks ago, I think around 4 weeks ago, I started working on making B the Go implementation for the Swarm node run in the browser. There is already a similar effort for doing it in Rust, but it does it from scratch. So I tried to take a different approach and just compile it to WebAssembly from Go. I already had previous experience with compiling Go to WebAssembly, so I knew some things already, like conditional compilation and like build flags on the stuff, and so I thought maybe it would be something in my niche. So I started working on it, and I was thinking one of the other reasons why I started working on this is because I thought that other decentralized storage networks they already have some kind of a similar thing. They have either a browser extension or a in-browser gateway, and I thought maybe B could benefit from something like that as well. And another thing would be just for people to be able to run a node without installing anything, just by opening the browser tab. So I started working on it. So first, what I did is I tried to compile B just by targeting WebAssembly. Obviously, it didn't work because a bunch of dependencies are not meant for WebAssembly. So I forked away a few of them, such as LODB, which is the one that Swarm uses under the hood, and Ethereum and a few other blockchain-based technology. I added this interoperability layer with the file system that is right now is in memory, but later we'll be using local storage or some kind of other browser storage. Then I forked Goalie P2P to support WebAssembly compilation. I wrote a custom libp2p transport for WebSockets because the one in Goalie P2P is not meant for WebAssembly, because usually if you want to do a WebSocket transport with libp2p, you would just use the JavaScript library instead, or a Rust one. So I managed to get it to the point where my local B node would be able to peer with the browser one, and they managed to establish a handshake, and like you can query most of the API endpoints in the browser node, because the browser node, basically how it works, it starts a WebAssembly binary of B in a service worker which runs in the background, and exposes all the endpoints instead of HTTP endpoints. They're like service worker endpoints, and you can request them inside the browser. That way you can query the same endpoints as if you would do that with the local node. Right now file upload is not working, and download either, as far as I'm aware, because I've been working on reducing the bundle size of in browser B, because Go is not very suitable for WebAssembly because it ships garbage collector and like this layout object that like occupies half of the binary. So yeah, I've been working on minifying the binary, and I've also already had a few calls with the B core developers and also the guys from Solarpunk. And they helped me with setting up a local cluster of B nodes so that I can simulate a Swarm network. Because if there is just 2 nodes in the network, it just forwards the request to the network for a file, and then you can find the file because the file is only on those 2 nodes. So yeah, my progress is mostly that. I'm just trying to reduce the bundle size for it, so it's not like 60 megabytes as it is now, and to try to make download work. And the B browser node runs as a ultralight node. There is no point in I think as of now to try to run a full node in a browser. It's also like very memory consuming. Yeah. So the final product would be something like in-browser website gateway that would run this node as a service worker in the background and not require any kind of software installed on your computer besides the browser. So I guess that's the summary.
That's not a simple thing, and not a small feature, I would say. One of the problems that the clients, the actual Web3 has, is the need to spin up a gateway with spin nodes, and that's solving in a very elegant way one big problem. I do believe that this could be really a nice changer. Thanks a lot for the overview, Pavel. Stay with us. I would like to give the mic now to MFW78, who will speak about the Rust client he has been working on. MFW, could you unmute yourself, please?
Sure. So the Rust client that I've been working on, or the Rust implementation, this has its origins in when I competed on the Swarm Wikipedia bounty. So I found that obviously I with implementing some of the primitives for handling array manifests and chunking, this was highly performant in Rust as opposed to JavaScript at the time. So that's where the code base originates from. And yeah, I do have similar desires to be able to like clients that are able to be embedded in varying architectures, be it WASM, be it ARM-based for mobile or these kind of places, so that there is essentially like a distributable that can be targeted to multiple architectures that then enable the development of applications to be built on top of Swarm. So currently where things sit at the moment is things like handshaking are working, P discovery is working, And I spent a lot of time on optimizing the root primitives, particularly around BMT hashing, to ensure that I'm sorry that I sound rusty, which is funny, but I don't think there's anything I can do to improve audio quality because I don't have an external mic. Sorry about that. Um, so currently P-Discovery is working. It's not the academia yet to establish a full topology, but I currently, like in EthPrague, I've been hacking on implementing Swarm Scan as a CLI tool, essentially, to allow this to essentially replicate what Swarm Scan is doing, but using the Rust that I've written. In developing the Rust clients, I've done quite a thorough review of the Y-level protocols that are being used within Swarm and have identified multiple areas for improvements to reduce RTTs. I'll try to turn the input level down 1 moment. Sorry, guys. Is this better?
Well, actually, I think I can hear you clearly, while still some buzz around. No pun intended. Now you're completely gone. Well, all right. So I will. Please stay with us, Abdullah, while we can hear. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, all right. Yeah, now it's better, actually.
Okay, cool. I just switched to mobile. Okay, cool. In regards to the protocol work, like in implementing the Rust client, I've done a deep dive through the Y-level protocol used within B and identified multiple areas for improvements, both for like memory management within clients, also for improving the resilience of the Y-level protocols, and I have multiple SWIPs out for this. So the coordination between myself and B developers has obviously presented additional overhead. So client development is not necessarily as fast as what I would like, but in regards to this, I pushed a PR to the B repository a couple of days ago, which improves the libp2p stream handling and avoids the use of trace headers, which is something that everyone that's implementing a client would have to handle, and it would be much better to have this as optional, in my opinion. And this also then reduces round trip times and latency within the network, and I think that this would have quite a marked effect considering that the topology within Swarm network uses forward input chunks. So this avoids many RTTs when retrieving chunks. So hopefully this gives marked performance improvement as well. But yeah, like ultimately, like what I'm targeting initially is a light client so that it can be embedded in other applications, and then eventually pushing through towards a full client.
Awesome. That's really important. The multi-client perspective. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the overview, MW. But that's not all. We have a little surprise here. So I would like to invite Aata from Stuka Research /uncloud to take this community talk to another level. I would like you to speak. As far as I understand, he will lead you into exploring client transport in general, network topology, and challenges of porting B into different environments, among other questions. Hello, Aata. Are you there?
Hello. Thank you for always a nice introduction. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. I think that we are listening another mic because I can hear you, but like from the other side of the room.
Oh, really?
So I presume you are speaking to another source.
Is it still sounding strange?
No, I see you still very far. Very far, 1 to 10, you are at 2. Being 10, you are by my side. In the meantime, and while you try to fix this up, there's one question that has just arrived and has been posed to Pavel in the state chat around the browser. The question is from Etherotic, and it says, what additional vectors are exposed from the browser to the WASM? Have you counted for any?
I can find the question. Could you please repeat it?
The question is in the channel state chat, not in the proper chat bubble that we have.
By the way, can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah, much better.
I figured out what it was. It was my iPhone was actually taking hold of the microphone, and it was literally in the other room. Sorry about that.
All right, let's blame
I found
the other room.
I found the question. What does vectors imply? Like usage vectors, like use cases, or
Yes. Not.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure. It says what additional. If you go to state chat, you will find the question there. It says what additional vectors are exposed from the browser.
yeah, I'm not
further
sure.
info.
I'm not sure what vector means, but I guess it means use cases. Besides in browser gateway, you could just have a in browser node, or that if you don't want to like install one on your computer, and you just only need to retrieve files, you don't have to upload anything. You could potentially do upload as well, and store like private keys somehow securely, or like I'm not sure, like for example, create some kind of vanity account that is bound to your regular account or something like that, and just run some kind of like a dashboard for a browser node. Another case is apps that need access to decentralized storage, but they don't want to like request files from a gateway. They just want to do it directly from a LPTP network. They could do that. So yeah, those are, I guess, the main pieces.
Thanks a lot. I hope it answered the questions, Etherotic. If not, you're free to keep putting the finger in the eye. Thanks a lot. Now I will leave you to Aata. Aata, can you hear us again?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I can hear you. I can hear you, and I hope you can hear me. Yes, this should work now. Yeah, okay.
Stage is yours.
I will actually give a little bit of background, not on me, but on the background on how I want to ask questions. So, as we know, we worked a bit on this deboot stuff before. But what was deboot for us, or for our team? So deboot has been and always will be like one of the first types of like a quote unquote cloud busting ideas, like taking apart clouds, moving things into smaller decentralized pieces. In particular, deboot was one thing that it did. It took a piece of toolage and moved it into decentralized toolage. And one of the ideas embedded in that, which is where I want to go today, is getting node type of software or node code closer to the hardware or closer to the firmware. So that's kind of the angle I'll take today. So I've drawn myself a little matrix of Rust kernel plus Rust to ELF compilation, and browser environment with Go to WASM compilation. And I'm going to be producing questions by having my mind in the mindset of thinking about a UEFI environment and trying to figure out how to get an EFI module or an executable like that. So if I'm asking strange things, it's probably because of that. Okay. So I wanted to ask Pavel first. So how many different runtimes did you run through with this GoWASM in order to figure out what you wanted to do, and then how did you settle on something?
So I tried like two main. I mean, it's WebAssembly. There's one runtime. There's no other like browser runtimes. I think I first was trying to use WASI, WebAssembly shared
Right,
interface.
right. I think that's what I'm referring to. Was seeing some of these early discussions about that. Yeah.
Yeah, system interface. But the problem is that, like for WASM Go, it wraps net.whatever like HTTP requests into fetch, which is a browser API for fetching stuff. With WASI, it doesn't do that. It converts like it just leaves all this TCP stack as it is. So you have to write system calls for opening and closing sockets. So you basically have to implement like TCP within a browser, which I wasn't in the mood of doing, and it felt like a huge overhead at the cost of some things compiling better than with WASM, because otherwise there is less interop needed, since it's like more like unified, standardized. Like as long as WASI the spec supports it, it will probably compile. But with WebAssembly, it will compile only like if Go specific WebAssembly target will support it.
Yeah.
And
Great. Go ahead.
and I was trying different like compilers for Go. There is a TinyGo and like Go, the regular
Right.
compiler. Yeah, TinyGo right now can't compile B at all, because there is there's that like very huge dependency on Prometheus, which is a metric service, and it like requests a bunch of stuff about runtime and GC. There's no GC in TinyGo, so like just a bunch of like standard library is missing because of that, and it's just a bunch of work of just suppressing those warnings. So I think
Yeah, you're talking about garbage collection now, right? Like that's exactly where I wanted to go next. Yeah. So, well, yeah. What exactly did you have to think about much for garbage collection?
I was just saying that TinyGo doesn't have one, as far as I'm aware. It's
I didn't know that about TinyGo. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and TinyGo doesn't implement a bunch of standard library modules that are related to this system stuff, because it's different from Go, how Go does it, and it's mostly coming from Prometheus, and Prometheus is this metric service that B uses heavily everywhere, and it's just like in order basically for it to be able to be compilable with TinyGo, we should produce a much smaller, much more portable binary for B. Yeah, all the Prometheus stuff would have to be like moved somewhere in a way that is like easier to just switch it back and forth between what gets included in the WASM bundle and what's get included in a regular like binary.
Cool.
So right now we just Go. So the binary is 58 megabytes instead of like.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask MFW. So Pavel's thing is seems like a very directed in niche type of. I guess I would call it a port. But MFW, your work, would you call it more of a port or a rewrite? And is this is not so niche? I think it's general purpose and just adding to client diversity. Is that right?
That's correct. The one of the main things that I've wanted to explore with the Rust client is to build it with modularity from the start. And so whereby chunk types and this kind of stuff are abstracted, and these can be changed in and out. So be it SOC chunks or CAC chunks, but you can like then research teams could then take this and abstract it even further, whereby you could actually have multiple methods of authorization. So maybe not even just postage stamps. Like you could have ZK membership sets, as an example. Predominantly it's about modularity and being able to experiment. So it's more general purpose in nature. Yes.
That was a beautiful answer. That's I didn't even expect how nice was that going to be. Okay, yeah, I'm really excited to look at this modularity aspect and being able to switch things out for ZK. That is quite cool. This is a question, I guess, to both of you guys. So there's libp2p hanging around. Let me just ask a question for myself. So as far as I understand, the current Swarm implementation doesn't use all of the possible libp2p transport methods. Is that right? Like for example, quick isn't used, I think.
In B?
Yes, in the B. So libp2p provides multiple methods of transport.
Yeah.
How many of those are used in the B?
Well, just in general, B only supports WebSocket and TCP, and
Yeah, I forgot to write down WebSocket.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
there's a draft pull request for quick support, like by
Uh-huh.
some
uh-huh.
other dude.
How important is WebSocket? For example, the reason I ask it, is it possible to run a B if you have access only to TCP and HTTP networking services?
Well, yeah, you can. That's how most people run B node. They just use a TCP transport. But
Right. So, Pavel, in your case, you were considering this WebSocket stuff because you're basically you are encouraged to do that because you're stuck inside of a browser, right?
yeah, and browsers have WebSocket API.
I got it. Oh, okay. I'm adding to my
Yeah,
notes.
that's also why I wrote like a custom WebSocket transport that
Yeah,
wraps WebSocket API in JavaScript.
yeah. And MFW, you basically didn't have to do anything, right? Because in particular for the libp2p component, you were you just able to import stock Rust libp2p?
Yeah, stock Rust libp2p like with TCP works fine. Like the Rust libp2p implementation, from my understanding of it, does lag some features of the Go libp2p. And also the JS libp2p. So things like web transport are still pending. I know there's been a PR open for this, like on Upstream for a few months now. This would be very nice, but also, that's also like somewhat unstable as well between browsers at the moment.
Thank you. And so here's another one to both of you guys. So, of course, your first target to hit is to get proper light node compilation running and working and passing tests. Like, what what's next? What kind of strange things do you need to do in order to keep going past the light node to the full node? What are the hurdles?
I'm not sure if there is any point in running a full node in a browser to just nuke your browser, because like full nodes are much more intensive bandwidth wise and like CPU operation. I don't think there's a need to write the full node in. Like for example, there's Helios that is a ultra light node for Ethereum.
Yeah,
That is
that's a good
also
point for in sense of motivation. Are we motivated to do that? Yeah, cool. But I guess
yeah.
for the Rust though, there's quite a motivation to have a full node working.
Yeah, somewhat. There's quite a motivation. Like, so my core motivation is driven around application usage. Very much so. Like first and foremost, because you get something that can target multiple architectures and expose via FFI or whatnot. Something so that people can write in, say, like in Dart or like Dart/Flutter or Swift or whatnot to still get access. And this I think is still quite important. But then eventually, yes, like full node is quite desirable. I have seen like on benchmarks the root hashing primitives. When I actually got the benchmark working correctly. On Rust, like it works out to be anywhere between like up to like about 2 times as fast. So this should make it more performant on lower spec hardware. Or allow operators to push more nodes on the same hardware. So both of these work. But in terms of like coming up towards a full node, I think like in B, the way B is currently implemented, they talk about like ultra light node, and full node. Whereas the work that I've done, like I've kind of conceptually, I actually see it as there's actually just two core protocols, and one is being able to access and interact with the swarm network, i.e., be able to like get and put data, and then there's the storing, like the synchronization of chunks. So these, like in my mind, are actually like the two boxes.
Yes, that's how I'm just drawing it here too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I do want to like push on upstreaming some of these protocol changes, but so like with the like once the get and put, like in my mind what I refer to as get and put, once these are done, then like moving on to the storage, then this is going to be all the fun of implementing local storage and indexes and all this kind of stuff, and just trying to find out what is performant.
Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. Antonio, how much more time do I have? Do I have time for a little bit more debut-oriented questions on the whole take?
Yes, you do. We can dive into this if you want.
Okay, so
For a
so
couple of
basically,
minutes.
yeah, just a couple of minutes. This will go quick. So basically, how I've been thinking about what both you guys have been doing is on the one side you have typical kernel, typical POSIX environment, and Rust compiling to an ELF binary. Is it that's right for MFW?
This is my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, that's my understanding too. And then Pavel's is a bit different. So that's browser environment, not exact. I wouldn't call it a POSIX environment, and it's go to WASM. So, one thing I've always been interested in, back to the deboot thing, is being able to push some node code, in particular B, closer to the hardware, closer to the firmware. So what one would like to do, or what one idea in this space, is to push both libp2p and B and an ultralight node into an EFI module or an EFI program, which is those things happen to be programmable executables, which is the same format as a Windows.exe. There's not much toolage available in terms of compilers. The only thing I've ever seen work in practice is compiling from C. So do you guys have any comments about how, here's the picture. If I would like to create an EFI module, which is a program, it's a computer program, you just compile it into a .EFI, which is same as a .exe. What do you guys have any ideas about routes to get there? So two things that are hurdles is you will not have garbage collection there, and also maybe even harder to work with is that you have only flat physical memory and no memory management. I don't know. Do you guys have any comments on this? No is also a valid answer.
Well, there is a C++ implementation for libp2p, and
Right.
I guess I'm not sure if C++ compiles to EFI. I guess it should. And
Yeah, I think it
I'm
could
not
be
sure.
arranged to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and or I guess we could rewrite libp2p. It's like libp2p is not that like huge. It has a bunch of components, but they're small if they're separate. And
Right, that's a good insider knowledge, actually. Yeah, that was one of the kind of big blank spots when I was thinking about, okay, how much work would this take? So you think libp2p is quite small, or at least we don't have to rewrite all of it, right?
yeah, but there's a lot of components, but they're all like isolated and independent. Like it's very modular, basically. You don't have to like. You can just
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So another thing in this third column, the UEFI side, is we don't really have a thread engine there. There's no cooperative multitasking or something like this. So does that pose? Do you guys see this posing any type of crazy problem?
I'm not sure. I guess for a basic implementation, it first could be single-threaded. Then, like, if there's any issues, could be multi-threaded.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, cool.
there's also there's Tamago. I don't remember how it's called. Like it's this go to EFI compiler, but I'm pretty sure since it's an alternative compiler, it probably is very limited, and like a bunch of things are not available. Similar to Tiny.
Right. Yes, I think we looked that up. Yeah.
I guess.
I've never seen it. Right. I heard of that with you, and but I guess I can't say that I've seen it work in practice yet. But I know that Tiano Core and like these custom providers work. Okay.
Yeah, probably. I guess you could compile libp2p, go libp2p somehow to EFI and like add like this conditional support for EFI target, like a build flag.
Yeah, this has been one big idea of Chris and I for a long time. Is that we were really interested in trying to get this libp2p.efi. Okay, and then I guess with file systems, the canonical choice for using UEFI is to use FAT32. Do you guys envision anything strange there? It is possible to use ext2, but you need to again use some type of EFI module to be able to read access to.
Well, I think the file system doesn't really matter, right? As long as it's
Cool.
able to store files,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. I will try to not take any more time, but if you guys have any more comments that were got missed, go ahead and say them, and I guess Antonio can take over.
Just as an FYI, like Rust does have a UEFI compiler target.
Oh, that's super.
But this is also no standard, and I imagine like as like all the stuff that's been mentioned before, there would be like interesting things around all the async, interesting things around memory management and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the comment. I did not know about the Rust UEFI. Super. Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, and thanks a lot, Aata, for leading
Yes.
this nice chat. It's been super cool, and Pavel and MFW for the answer, and MFW 78 for the answers. Thank you so much for this brief talk. It's been quite informative, and I am pretty sure that it has sparked the imagination of the audience. So thank you guys for being here. And I would like to take over for the last section of the call, which is the AMA. For that, I would like to start with one question, the first question coming from Greg Ross, where he praises the updates and the progress. And the question is the following: could you elaborate on what clients arriving actually looks like in practice? Are we talking about enterprise integration, DApps, or specific protocols using Swarm? That's one question. And the other one, it's how does increased usage of the network translate into demand for BZZ at the protocol level? The team is focused on building long-term utility, but it'd be great to understand how tokenomics tie into this growth. For this question, I would like to invite Callum to the stage. There you are.
Hello, can you hear me, Antonio?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Yeah, well, obviously the first question there, but I think you've answered it for me, is what do you mean by client? So obviously we've discussed that a lot today. So that's not what we mean. I suppose you mean partnerships, biz dev partnerships, what kind of organizations kind of get onboarded, and what's the endeavor that we're basically going through to get those on our horizon. So I'll go back to what I started with in saying, in that to get the best partnerships and the best clients, we need to be fast, reliable, competitive, easy to understand and use, and performant. We're ticking all of those boxes, and there's a big uptick in the business development side of the foundation at the minute. So our whole focus has shifted for the first time away from the more heavy duty protocol level engineering to much more usability, performance, and product orientated lines of work. I think that's very visible and very reflected in what we're doing, and that should directly tie into our biz dev efforts in getting partnerships and in getting usage on the network. To answer the latter part of your question, basically, what does that pipeline look like? What's the kind of emergent behavior? What are you going to notice as far as BZZ goes? I think you mentioned, or in the network usage with these partnerships. The more projects that we have that reliably and consistently use us, the more they're purchasing BZZ through the likes of the multi-chain app to run their applications, to actually store things and retrieve things on our network. When they're buying that BZZ and they're buying stamps, that's directly impacting the project and the token price all the time as the ecosystem expands. And you will see more traction and more announcements on this in the coming weeks. There's a very clear strategy and very clear partnerships in the works already. And I think all of our engineering and product is completely aligned in that direction. So if there's something more specific you'd like me to answer on that, please do say, and I'm happy to answer here or follow up if you've got very, very specific questions. But I'm absolutely completely focused in this direction. Hopefully that was a reasonable answer. But again, if you want something more specific, we can drill into anything.
Thanks, Callum, for this. Yeah, I think it was quite a good answer. If Greg wants to come again, just leave it a comment right now if you're listening or not you have you know where to drop the question. Okay, thank you. Now there was another question. There has been several questions regarding the token, about the price. It is going to be part of the next bull run. So I would have summed it up in this question: what is the strategy to grow the token? Can anyone reply during the community call? Okay, and I think I'm going to take this one. So the token it's actually in a good shape. It's being used more than ever. I don't know if you have realized, but the initiatives that has been showcased here only mean that it will increase its usage, which is exactly the point of all this infrastructure, usage. Will it be part of the next bull run? Well, Swarm is not built for bull runs. It's built to last for the next decades. And also, it's one of the few technologies that it's capable of crossing the chasm towards Web 2. So it means that we can offer an end-to-end service, abstracting away all the complexities of Web 3, because storage and bandwidth, it's a common need in both worlds. That means it can provide a fast and quick way to onboard users from Web 2 into Web 3 without them even realizing it. I am not aware of a lot of projects that are in this same position. Most are built primarily for the web native crowd or ecosystem. So I would say it's in a really, really good shape. And that's it. That's all we got for you. Now, the team in Prague is all now headed to the Web3 Privacy Now meetup, where Victor will talk about Signal on Swarm. And for those who are not present in Prague, you're welcome to read all about it in a recently published article that I will drop in the state chat over there. And that's it. I hope that you have enjoyed the call today. Thank you, the speakers who have been here for answering the questions and taking it over. Thanks, and thank you, of course, the audience for being here. This is it. See you next month. Speak freely.